All right, traders, it is kickoff football Sunday. If you can't tell, the greatest team in the world, the Minnesota Vikings, don't actually play today. However, Jace over there sitting in that nasty green grow shirt is here to fill your ear holes with what's happening in the stock market. So I'm Matt. Again, he is JC with Empire Algorithmic Trading. We're here to bring you your weekly review of VWAP Vision Stock Talk.
It's where the volume weighted average price helps us make sense of the crazy market, Matt. So let's get right to it. It's time for a little stock talk.
Stock Talk!
Go Packers.
Football's back, buddy. I can't wait. But before we get too excited for kickoff here in a few minutes, what happened this week in the market? What happened in the generals?
All in all, the generals were all up for the week. The S&P closed up 0.3%. The Nasdaq closed up well over 1%. Same thing with the small caps, and then same thing with the mid caps. All closed up well. And then bonds had a big breakout. Yep, bonds had a big breakout out of their range if you look at the daily chart there. So
Wow.
good look overall. On Friday, it was a little bit of a downer. Friday had a nice strong gap up and it sold off hard throughout the day. Same thing with this Nasdaq Composite. And over the past month, basically since the August 13th green zone, the market's been going through a little bit of a change. The Nasdaq and the S&P 500 have been pretty well flat. The small caps and the mid caps are up about well over 2%. So money is moving out of the large caps and moving into the smalls and the mids, which is nice, but it's also kind of wreaking a little bit of havoc on some breakouts because we're having slightly higher failures than normal. You know, historically, about 30% of our signals will hit their 5% stop loss. Well, this recent run, we're sitting at about 48% of our recent signals have hit our stop losses. So it's been pretty treacherous for breakout traders for momentum because there's really no momentum going. There's momentum starting to build, but it's not firing on all cylinders as we're seeing with the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. So it's not an easy money market, but there are still trades to be made. So it's one of those, the probabilities aren't quite there for the full on let's just buy anything, but there's enough there to keep you wanting to buy something and participate where the smalls and the mids are taking action.
Wonderful. Well, what's going on with the VIX? How about the bonds? You said the bonds broke out?
Oh yeah, bonds had a nice run, nice breakout on Friday. They actually kind of broke out a little bit earlier last week, tested, and then just rallied right through. So we've got some nice leeway as far as bonds go and interest rates. We've got a little playroom there as far as the market goes. And then the VIX, as you would expect, the VIX kind of came back down into range, sitting about 15.18, which is a little less than a 1% daily move on the S&P 500. But that's well within normal and right where we want to be.
Perfect. So all in all, like you said, it's not a bad week, not a great week. We're just seeing some reconfiguration of the general market. So kind of fun to see.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's going on this last week. Next up, we're going to talk about some of the big breakouts, some of the big failures. All of these through a signal by our algorithm within the past. So these are ones that we like to chart, we like to watch, we like to keep stock on. And if you want access to those daily algorithmic buy and sell signals, subscribe over on our Patreon, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading, where you get access to that. Arrow reviews where Jason and I talk about some of the breakouts that we think are about to take off. We also have some educational videos where we teach how we use the signals in our trading strategies. And just a cool group of traders. Patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading. So Jace, who moved? Where'd they go? Let's see them.
Well, the big indicator for the algorithm this week wasn't even anything to do with bonds or stocks. It was gold. Gold had a big breakout, continued to rally up through, and because of that, we had a plethora. Almost all of our buy signals this week were gold stocks. Orla mining broke out. Wheaton precious metals flashed another buy signal. Triple flag precious metals flashed a buy signal. Anglo Gold flashed a buy signal. AEM, Agnico Eagle Mines, that actually broke out a couple of weeks ago and it's continued to follow through. And then same thing with Hudbay Minerals. It broke out a couple of weeks ago and it's continuing to follow through. So the gold stocks were on a tear this week. Those are the only breakouts this work. The other breakouts, we only had 3 other breakouts this week. They all failed miserably. So it was very interesting to see the influence that gold had on the equities that we saw as far across the board as far as buying and selling goes. For the week, it was a rather interesting week. We had some pretty big reversals. Applied Digital sold off hard. It was down 13% for the week. BKV Corporation gave up 6% for the week. It got me in. I was trying to get in. It was looking like it was testing a little bit right here, and so I ended up getting here, and it just reversed hard. It wasn't a test. It was a full failure. So I ended up taking a small loss on that one. And as far as the week, the Core Medics as well gave up all of its recent gains. It was down 16.3%. Dutch Brothers, another one that I was trying to trade a test on, it sold off hard. It was down 8% on the week. Pretty disappointing there, but those are the downside ones, right? There was quite a few nice little gainers. So we got BBNX, Beta Bionics. This was one that failed right away, and then it quickly reversed, and it's been on a roll. It's up 0.5% on Friday. For the week, it was kind of spinning a little bit, but it was up 7% on the week. Credo up 14% on the week. Interdigital Communications up 5.9% for the week. CYD, China Yushai, up 3.1% for the week. Carmen Holdings up a solid 17% for the week. This was another one. I actually bought it on the test, and it turned out well. This one's holding up all right. So Western Digital is just shot. I mean, it's surprising me. This thing is just not stopping. It was up 14.5% on the week. iRhythm, another one I bought on the test, it was up 6.5% for the week. Amplitech Group was pretty much flat on the week. It had a really nice day, or had a nice week going until Friday. It came back down 10% on Friday. FTAI, it was up pretty good for the week, up just a little over 1/10, but its breakout is holding. If you look back, its first breakout was right here. Flashed a little mini sell signal at the 10-day moving average, but then quickly bounced right back out of it. So that breakout is holding up well. B1's medicine is, even though it's all over the place, kind of gapped down a little bit to test you, it's also gapped back up. I avoided that one just simply because of all the gaps. Tempest is holding up well. It stopped me out at my break-even price, and it's continued to ride right up along that 10-day moving average. Tiger, again, it was a one-day fail, quickly reversed, and then it just blasted right out of its space. It came back down on Friday about 3%, sitting right at its 10-day moving average, but that breakout is working out quite well. And then lastly, IREN. I don't know if this is the last one I put on the list. It's not. So IREN, again, one of those that stopped me out on the one day, but I could have bought it back. I was just feeling a little anxious at the time, and it continued to prove itself right. Silicon Emotions, that breakout is working well. Pagaya Technologies, again, that one is holding up well as well, right up above the 10-day moving average. Montrose Environmental setting up again right below its all-time high VWAP. Interesting looking chart there. Tarsus Pharmaceuticals is holding up well at its 10-day moving average. And then lastly, Fibro Animal Health up very nicely at 39.45. Its price was 31.85. So the breakouts that are working. It's just the challenge is there's about half of them are not. So right now it's at best a 50-50 probability on anything. So again, just stick to your rules. Stick to the one-day stop loss of 2.5% or more. The very next day after a buy signal is pretty much considered a loss, right? I've got some stats here which are kind of interesting. Let's see here. Of the 58 signals we've had since August 13th, 48% have hit the 2.5% follow through. The average low after that for those stocks is 14.5% below. Many of them reached 10% below had 10% stocks below their loss before their high. So you're getting some shakeouts there. Let's see. 12 of those 28 recovered above their buy points. Historically, about 29% of our stocks hit the 2.5% follow through. Of those that didn't, 75% are above their buy point. And then of those that did hit, 36% ended up hitting 5% or more. So that 2.5% follow through is key. If it follows through, odds are it's going to hit, 80% of the stocks that follow through, that have a negative percent, follow through at 2.5%, will hit the 5% stop loss. So if you get that 1 day stop loss of 2.5%,
Get
just get
out.
out of the way.
Get
It's an
out.
easy sell there. You can always buy it back if it recovers. So it's about the easiest sell signal you can get. So I'm just going to stick with that from now on. I'm not going to even bother waiting until it gets down 5% or more. It's just going to be that 1 day 2.5%, and then after that, just try and peel off some gains.
Yep, exactly right. Well, that is it for us with Weekly Review here on VWAP Vision Stock Talk. Thank you so much for listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe button, rate, review, help us bump up in those ratings. We're always appreciative of that. If you want to follow us on social medias, we are on Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, anywhere you're consuming your trade media, we are there. So make sure to follow us there. If you want to know more about who we are, what we do, check out our website. That's VWAPvision.com. VWAPvision.com. And for all the good stuff, the goodies, the extras, subscribe over at Patreon, patreon.com/Empire Algorithmic Trading for your daily buy and sell signals, your arrow reviews, your educational videos, and just a cool group of traders. Patreon.com/VWAP Vision, or sorry, /Empire Algorithmic Trading. And as always, Jace, until arrow review, happy trading, buddy.
Happy trading, man. We'll see you soon.
Skull Vikings!